Got me.
Matey, what's Rime?
Look good. It's colourful.
pretty.
It's shiny. It looks like Wind Waker.
Very sunny.
Yeah. Apparently, it's a little bit like Last Guardian, eco kind of thing. Looks like we're gonna have a good time in this one, mate. So I'm hoping that it's on par with those kind of games. That's what I'm hoping to get out of it. No, all I've seen from the trailer is that we're going to explore and do some puzzle solving.
Puzzles, mate. Puzzles.
Which I'm a big fan of, so I'm playing this one.
I don't like puzzles.
Wish me luck, mate, so I don't get stuck and
You
look like
got
a right
this, bro.
buffoon.
Onwards. Onwards.
Using your PC.
Fucking asshole. I want you to talk to me, mate, about Rime.
Oh, the description. Very happy-go-lucky.
Really?
That's like,
Looking quite Zelda-ish.
Oh, very Zelda-ish. It's just a cheery place. We got piggies. We got everything on there. No, I'm lying. What a shenanigans and a bamboozlement the description of this game is. It's this is the first game ever, and I'm not exaggerating here, the first game ever to make me cry.
Is that not because you're
It was only a singular tear, but it was there, and it's
Emotional roller coaster.
never ever happened to me before. Never. No matter what I've played.
Me.
I've played some sad games in my time, man.
Yeah.
I played some sad games, but this one, it got me. And I think a big part of that is we didn't know what we were expecting going in. We actually did this on Bank Holiday Monday. Everyone was on holiday. It was like, we're going to have a happy, cheery puzzle day. It's going to be awesome. I was like, oh my God. Why? The audience was in tears. Like, so many people like, yeah, I'm legitimately crying. Yeah, I'm legitimately crying right now. And I was like, I'm really sorry. And the only thing I could say was, I didn't know. I didn't know once we started. So, what is it? It's by Tequila Works, who made the Sexy Brutale, which we played recently.
Cool game.
And is nothing like that at all.
Oh, no, it didn't look like
nothing at all. Obviously, wearing a lot of influences on the sleeve from Team Ico, whatever you want to call them, from The Last Guardian, Shadow of the Colossus, these big grandiose settings, lots of stuff going on there. The story is you're going to wake up washed up on a beach like you've been shipwrecked.
Right.
There's no wreckage though. And you're going to wake up on this beautiful, gorgeous island.
It did look good. I watched the intro. It did look very
beautiful,
pretty.
gorgeous island. And you're playing a small child. Now, I say child, it's pretty ambiguous whether the child is a boy or a girl. I think that's done intentionally so you can, particularly if you're a parent, you can relate a bit better because it can be a boy or a girl.
Okay.
It's not really set in stone. Nowhere that we found is it clear that that's
Did we get a
happening.
name?
No, there's no names.
Name.
There's very much like the Eco games. There's no spoken word throughout the entire game.
Right.
There's nothing telling you there. You're then going to wake up and all you'll see in the distance is a tower. And they're playing on your natural instincts throughout most of the game is you'll go towards this thing.
Yeah.
So that's it. There's no tutorials. There's no prompts.
Straight in.
There's just, you wake up on this island, there's a tower, head that way, and from there the game just unfolds into its immense journey.
I like that. I know it's kind of obvious, but it's also ballsy at the same time when games do things like
It's difficult to achieve because it's an exploration puzzle game.
Right.
So if we move over to the gameplay, this is an exploration puzzle game. That's what they're aiming for, and it's, as you can see in every scene we show you, they're very large open vistas. So what they've done there to achieve this sense of you're accomplishing things is they've give you some pretty obvious places you want to get to. So they might be towers or they might be a big door. And your instinct is I have to go through the door. That's what I have to do. Not only that, to avoid having to sort of either get you stuck, which happens quite often in those games. Like Last Guardian, you might spend 10 minutes sometimes just looking for where am I supposed to be going. You are accompanied by a fox. You find a fox in the first few minutes of the game, and this fox will regularly just pop up and be sat somewhere or bark, just to let you know you should be going in this direction if you want to progress the story. Now, that's the important line I want you to take away from that. If you want to progress the story, it's an exploration game. So if you follow the path that the fox kind of lays out for you in a way, if it's a tricky area, the fox will be kind of like, you should probably go this way. Then you'll be walking a pretty linear path.
Yeah.
In doing so, you're ignoring a huge amount of exploration and collectibles. And all those things, there's lots of different types, from toys to memories, which is very important to add context to the story. Yeah. Different outfits, all kinds of things that can go on that all make sense to the overarching story. I want to be clear here, though. We did it without any collectibles and still got what the story was about.
You got Like,
Yes,
it wasn't like
yes.
a big void of story because you didn't get the collectibles.
No, not at all. It wasn't like we didn't get to the end of the story and didn't unlock all the memories. I mean, we picked up 1 or 2 by accident because we stumbled into them.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a case of like, I don't know what's happening because we didn't go exploring. That
So it's
wasn't
not
the case.
arbitrary pickups, but on the same token, they are not mandatory pickups.
No, not in the least. It more likely look at it as replayability. I knew, and I mentioned it several times, like I know we've missed a lot of stuff because we were going through different areas relatively quickly, and I know that if we went off here, we could probably go 5-10 minutes that way, 5 or 10 minutes this way, and go and see lots of different things. But what they know, at no point forces you to continue. The fox will be there generally, or the door will be there, and you know that's what you've got to do. It's not making you go there. You can go and do other things.
It's an indication.
Fine. Yeah, it's just letting you know that's where you should go next.
That's the proper way, and it's a fine art of doing collectibles in game. That sounds like it's right. Not like an Ubisoft just collect them for an achieve. That sounds like it's right. You're not missing anything that would balls up your story completion how it would look. On the same time, if you want a bit more insight into the story, there's these as well.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing this game does so well, in my opinion, is Ed McMillan's who makes Meat Boy and Binding of Isaac and all those kind of games. He's a huge, like, it's his #1 rule is show the player, don't tell them. That's
I like it.
Yeah, it works on a simple basis. So in Meat Boy, he was saying, look, we make this level that's just a jump. It's one of the first levels, but it teaches you that to make that gap, you need to do a running jump. From then on, you know 100% the player knows how to deal with that. So that then translates into the puzzles, not only in guiding you through this world so you're not getting stuck, but also into the puzzles. Because there is no tutorials, there is no prompts, there's nothing like that. But they have very complex puzzles. And the way they do this is they'll give you something. And it might be something like a sound amplifier. So all you do is you just test what it does. There's no negative effects to that. And you see this resonate out into this big sphere. And you're like, oh, okay, this can hit multiple things at once. From that point on, I don't need to be told. I found it out myself. You get that wonderful sense of accomplishment. It's like, oh, okay, I know what this thing does now. I figured it out. And from then on, you can start mixing and matching these things into much more complex things.
So it's not just an item that's used in an area, you will repeat use items.
Yeah, they'll give you what they'll do in the best way game developers do, which is give you a super simple puzzle that can only be solved by this item. So you figure out how to use this item and what it does. Next time, they can throw that into something else entirely and make it much more difficult because they know for a fact you know how to use this item and what it's all about because you did a super simple puzzle before that had to use that item.
Yeah.
So they do that all the way through the game, so they never need to say, you know, they're not worried that maybe you, like Little Nightmares, let you try things, but if you didn't do it within the first 30 seconds or so, a little thing would appear saying you're supposed to press B here. This one doesn't do that, and it never needed it. It never needed it, no matter how complex the puzzle gets. So, to get through to the fullest of it, that's what it's about. But this is easily one of the most beautiful games I've played in years. It's easily one of the most beautiful games I've played in years. And that's putting it side by side with games like The Witcher 3 and Horizon Zero Dawn, which are just magnificent in and of themselves and doesn't detract from them. But the combination of two things here, one is the vistas and the way the landscape changes is utterly incredible, but accompanied by one of the most brutal and gorgeous soundtracks you can imagine.
Yeah.
Every scene is like The Lord of the Rings.
Grandiose and
grandiose and emotional, and that's what I loved about it so much, because the emotion in this game is what really hits you in the belly, and it really does. Like when your character is feeling so sad, you understand why, and that's accompanied by this music and all these moments coming together, and you feel the tension rise when the music wants the tension to rise. everything is conveyed through the combination of what you're seeing and how you're feeling and what you're hearing at the same time, along with all the mysteries that are going on. You're going to find mysteries. You're going to find... we nicknamed him Journey Bro, because Journey feels like very much an inspiration of this. While we were playing it, inspirations were obviously Last Guardian and Eco and all those games, but definitely Journey, and definitely Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, which were also done in this way, where there was no spoken word. It was all about conveying things through what you're seeing and what you're hearing.
Yeah.
And this game pushes that to the absolute limit, so that when things get crushingly sad, you are soul crushed, because you're like, oh my god. But when things are overwhelmingly happy and good, you're feeling that all the way through it. I actually checked back through the VODs, and as I was playing it at the very beginning, I said we're having a happy, fun puzzle game. Then about 2 hours in, I was like, I feel so serene playing this. I was so calm and so relaxed, and by the end I was in tears. So that was
wow.
that's the story in a nutshell of what's going on there. I want to tell you more about the story, but it is the story. It is the crux of the game.
Beautiful game, and the lead up at the end is like, it's a fucking crescendo of a masterpiece.
Yeah, it only dawned on me later when we were looking back and preparing the notes, is that there are only 5 stages to the game, but each one of them is a different level of the grief process. So that's something you want to bear in mind. Is if you, I mean, I'm saying this is the first game ever that made me cry, and for good reason. It was really dark at the end, and like so sad, so painfully sad, and that's what you realize. You're going through despair, you're going through anger, you're going through denial, you're going through all these things, and that the way the game is presented just conveys that so well.
Awesome.
Yeah. But,
sounds really, really good.
But if you like a good puzzle game, then you're all right. I think a lot of people might not get that much out of it. One, if you're a parent, definitely. All I can say is everybody who watched us play it was along for the ride and like soul crushed, like by the end of it. But what
that's
a ride.
A mixed audience as well.
What a ride to get there. Yeah. What a ride to get there. What an absolute ride. The pros of this game then is it's an amazing journey. It really is. Once you're trying to figure out why this guy's just out of reach, and then that kind of all makes sense. Each area culminates just wonderfully together. It all ties together at the end, and it's tragic and gorgeous all at the same time, which is difficult to achieve. They've really achieved something pretty special this game, in my opinion. They've done really well. I gotta give, again, big props to how they guide you through the game. There's none of that frustration that I definitely got, because we've done full playthroughs of Last Guardian, we've done full playthroughs of games that are similar to this, and you do have those moments where you're like, I just want to know where to go. I'm like annoyed now, because your game is beautiful. Where the fuck do I go? That's all I want to know. And that doesn't happen here. But also not being pushed to go there either. They've achieved it. So it's just the case of, it's over here. Yeah, it's pretty obvious where to go. They either use the fox or they use an obvious symbol of where to go. All the puzzles have these wonderful cutscenes that are just continuously open up your eyes to like, this is a weird world. It's very, very strange. It's very crazy. The big con, I think we'll have to say for this one, is it's not super long. 5 hours it took us to play through, but that was ignoring all the collectibles. I thought the collectibles wouldn't be that interesting, you know, because collectibles traditionally in games can be pretty garbage. So once I picked up a couple, I was like, oh, it's collectibles? I'm kind of not that bothered about it. I want to figure out what's going on in the rest of the game. Now I do kind of want to go back and figure out the collectibles, because I know there's story stuff in there.
It's done right, though, because it's done right.
That's where your replayability is going to come in. But it is 26 quid. It's going to be about $30. If you're a big person on like dollar per hour, obviously money's relative to everybody. What experience you want is relative to everybody. I'm going to put this down to, it's not super long, but the quality per hour is astonishing.
Cool.
It's so well polished. It's so well done. There isn't that moment of like tedium and boredom where you're just like, I just want to get on with things.
No filler, all thriller.
There's no filler. None at all that I can see. There's absolutely no filler. It's all stuff that's worth doing. So if you're looking for, if I spend $10, I want 100 hours out of a game, it ain't the game for you. But if you want to go on this journey and in this adventure, yeah, this is going to be for you. And it's cool. And for my money, the quality and the polish, the way the game's put together, how every moment is interesting, is worth the money, in my opinion. I think this quality build is worth the money just for me.
Awesome. Cheers, mate.
Don't want to talk about it.
Cheers.
Can't believe it got me. The first game that's ever got me. Of all the games that I've played, and I've played some sad games, and it got me.
But cheers in a good way.
Yeah, I mean, look, we expected a happy... Look! It's so happy! Why is it so happy? And then it did this to us. But It's pretty fantastic. I think it's going to be a little out of the price range of a lot of guys. Yeah. I think maximum you're going to get maybe 10 hours out of it, and that's, you know, it's important. You know, money's not
how you play.
Money's not free, mate. You know what I mean? It's got to be earned, or it's given free by other people. But still, it's got to be earned. Yeah. But so dollar value is the only thing holding this back. I mean, if it was 15 quid or something like that, I'd be like, go buy it, support these people. But yeah, but you can tell where that money's gone.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? You can tell where the money's gone. Like, it's 26 quid because it's so good. It's so good. I've never been in. It's so hard to get immersed in an environment like that, like this game does. Like, you're in there and you're like. But there you go. So if it's low out of your price range, the VOD is down below. You can click that and you can see what it's all about. If not, I recommend you get it. Or you can check out our previous video, which was on the Reservoir Dogs Bloody
Days, mate. Bloody Days. Decorators were in.
Congrats to you, bruv, because the dev got in contact and said, you're one of the only people who's understood what the game's about. This guy, right?
And I know nothing, mate.
I know, right? Professionals.
That's what I do for a living, sir.
That's cool.
I wanted to do the not like this, but with a more like Spanish-esque twang to it, you know? That's a twofer! Shabba! That's a highlight reel. Let's see that in an instant replay. And as you can see here, Brown's wasting no time with the defensive cover. Waits for the two offensive policemen to come round. 6.4, Shazbot. That's a twofer for the Duchess. Back to you in the studio.